Okay, so I just want to go over an issue or a way of resolving this issue that we've got with these walls not joining properly on the first floor, because that wall on the ground floor is different, and you can see there that the wall obviously used to go from this corner here all the way across to the other side of that entry. So it's obviously just a straight wall, but then on the level above it's the same wall there at the moment, and so there's actually a couple of issues. It's stopping here because of the levels, actually, so and also the way it's been attached. So you can see there that the top constraint is just set to first floor, and so really by rights we shouldn't be able to see that wall on this level because it stops at first floor. So then why do we see it? If you see that situation, you can normally assume that it's because it's attached to something. So that's what's lifting up the top of it. So what the thing it's attached to, therefore, must stop in line with this end of the wall there. So I'm going to start by fixing that. So I'm going to select the wall and then change the top constraint to roof. And so it's obviously stopped it from finishing back here or wherever it was. But then we've got another problem now because it simply looks the same now as it does on the ground floor. It extends all the way to the corner. So we want to make it so we can trim the wall here, and you could split it in plan definitely, and then just have this bit attached to the floor. But a better way of doing it, and something that's going to help with a lot of the other details, is to split vertically. And so I just want to show you what the issues are there. So I'm going to go to this section view, which I've just set up as a working view. It's not a finished section, but it's just there so we can see the wall. And so there's the wall I was just looking at, and we can see the levels. So this level here is the first floor level. So we just want to make it clear that you can use the split tool, split element, in a section on things like walls. I'm just going to be careful to get it at the right point, so I want that exactly on the level. So it is, it doesn't show it, but it is there intersecting with the level in the wall. So I'll click there to split it, and we can see there is a line between the two walls. So that's worked really well, but now just want to check this lower wall, and you can see that it's actually set the top not to the first floor level, but to unconnected. It's only a minor thing, but it definitely will help to set that instead to finish at the first floor. And then the upper level wall, it's got the similar problem that the base constraint is still coming from the ground floor, and then they've got this base offset. So I'm going to make the base offset 0, and then as quickly as I can set the base constraint to first floor before it's applied, so that won't give you any errors, and that will work much better. So you can still use the join tool to join these two walls together, and they'll read as one. But then now if I go back to the first floor, I can simply trim these two walls together, and it's not a problem. So just that simple thing, but it does help a lot when you've got, especially on multi-storey buildings, you'll often start out with walls that go from, say, the ground floor all the way up to the parapet, and they might go 8 stories. And I've done exactly that just recently with a building in the city. And then afterwards had to split all those walls for each level because they had different articulation and just different patterns and need to be worked on individually. So I've found that's a really helpful thing, being able to split the walls across levels, and so that's the main thing I want to look at. But I'll show you very quickly the section that I've been working on here, just so you can get an idea maybe what to work on leading up to the details that we're going to look at next week. And so you can see there, if you haven't done it already, I've just set the view to fine, and then and also, really importantly, I've saved the file, even though it's still called DA. I should probably give that a better name actually. I've saved it as a new project, and I'll do this again, and I'm going to change it to, well, it's CC. And so that way I can keep my DA project file as it was, and instead of setting up a bunch of new views for the DA, for the CC, and keeping the DA views there, which you can definitely do, and that's what I really do for my own projects. So,
You're just one of the students in here. Sorry, I came walking in thinking, oh my God.
so yep, it's
Sorry.
all on recording, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, right? My apologies.
No, yeah.
But I was just gonna say, Grandma's driving down there? I'm not gonna say no to a lift. Thanks, guys. See ya.
So, oh yes, I was saying, yeah, so if you get those views set to fine, you're of course going to see all this detail. And so then rather than going through and then making new materials and new floor types and wall types, and what I'll do actually just to show you how this started is I'll open up an earlier version, which I have here somewhere, there it is. Yep. And again, for my own projects, I don't do it this way because I want the DA views to all still be there in the project, so I can, because the designs often get amended and I've got to go back to that stage. But you won't have that problem. So you can just essentially, and this is what a lot of people would do, is to essentially make a version of the file for the CC. And then that way, instead of doing new views, you just change the views that you've got. So for example, the section that we've already got, which is on the sheet here, that's the same section. We'll change that to a construction drawing. So, so just to give you maybe a couple of good little steps there, I've set the view to fine, and then this floor, if I go and edit it, rather than duplicating, which is probably the normal thing you would do, I'd even leave that name or possibly rename it so I know it's been modified, and I can say, you know, CC, whatever. So I know it's for that. And that way, if I make changes to this and there are other floor types or other floors that are the same floor type, they'll all change instead of having to go and set my new floor type for them. And so there's my material. I've already given it a new name, but, oh no, sorry, I haven't yet, sorry. That's the next thing. So again, with the materials, rather than duplicating, in this case it probably is better just to rename it. And so we'll just call it, you know, CC concrete. That's fine. And so I don't want my simple plain solid fill cut pattern. I want a concrete patch pattern. That's the only change I'll make there for now. So then if I click OK, and OK, this floor's obviously changed, and the slab edge and everything. But then so is this floor, even though that's a different floor type, but it used the same material. So by renaming the material instead of duplicating it, it's changing a lot more, and it's less work. And then going through things like the ceilings. That yellow was good for the DA because it let us know easily where the timber was, but and yellow, you know, means timber, but we don't want that on construction drawings. So I'm just going to go in again, instead of making a new material, I'll just rename it. So I'll call it again CC timber, maybe timber frame or something, and then just get rid of that cut pattern altogether, because we're going to put we're going to draw the frame using repeating details and other things, so we don't want anything there. But I still can't help it, I can't handle having that yellow colour there, so I'm going to set it to black even though there's no pattern. It just annoys me. So that's it. And so again now, because that was being used by this other ceiling, that's changed as well. And then I've just got the roof there. Sorry. Oh, God, I thought it was my allergies, but I'm getting cold, so sorry about that. But here, maybe that's obviously a different material, so that's where maybe it would make sense to change the material to the one I've just made. So this is where it's good having CC in the name, because we're going to do a search. Here we are. So it doesn't take very long to get it starting to look like a construction drawing, and then it's just a matter of going through and cleaning up a lot of things. But that should be the process over the next week or so. And then, yeah, we'll start getting those repeated details and other things, and plenty of details to do. But hopefully that will give you some ideas for doing CC drawings.